Hello, 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 and assalamu alaikum. Welcome to The Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. Confucius said, "There are three methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest."
I knew I was getting help with my addictions, but I really didn't ever stop to think about what it was that was actually going to get me through addictions. The treatment centers and the detox clinics, I would always see people just coming in and out of, and they would go away for 30 days and come back and just get into the same circle, same friends, and just end up right back either in jail or in another program. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. I need to find what it is so I can stay grounded in this. I don't want to keep slipping back into addiction. It's what cost me everything, basically. My family, almost everything, until I had lost everything except for my kids. And that's when I knew, okay, you have to do something. So when I realized I was there to actually meet God and have a relationship with Him, that's when it all turned around. That's when, I really started digging, in the bed at night and during the day through all of our classes. We had class from 6 a.m. till sometimes 6, 7 o'clock at night. We would have 4 or 5 classes throughout the day, plus cleanup, plus laundry, plus just so many things. It was teaching us to go back out into the world to do, and I didn't even realize I didn't even have those ethics in me because I had just given up on everything. The only hope I had in the world was that drug. I would do anything, I would hurt anybody, and it was just terrible. So being that I found God there, and I just started to see how many doors He was possible of opening once I got out. So when the program was shutting down and everybody had to go to New York, I thought it was crazy that I was gonna leave my kids to go 2,000 miles away from them to be in a program. I say, God, I hope you're leading me in the right direction. And already it's 8 years sober for me. So it was only God who got me through that. It's crazy. At first, I'm people are going to think I'm just crazy God freak and all I talk about is God. But He's really who saved me. That program saved me. I do believe that the world has negative stigmas on ex-addicts. And I don't think they should. All my life, being that my mother was addicted to drugs at one point in her life, I was a lot younger. I always said throughout my life, I'll never do that drug. I'll never get hooked on anything. I'll never have to depend on that. But yet, my drug of choice ended up being something much, much worse, I felt. So it's you can never say that. You can never judge someone for how they become addicted. If they're your family, if they're your friends, just uplift them. The judgment is just crazy, ridiculous to me because people can change. I know there's people that they keep going around the same mountain, just keep getting up and then keep falling, keep getting up, and that's scary. But when I feel that fear, I automatically pray for the strength to not have that fear because I know what I want in life and I know what my goals are. And I know for the past 8 years, God has been blessing me in my sobriety. So why in the world would I go back? It would be so crazy to to even imagine myself so low in life ever again. I never want that again. So I have to, it's almost like you got to maintain it. Like you got to keep walking in the faith and knowing that you're not going to keep going down that road. I have a whole different circle of friends. Like, yes, some still I know are out there still in the world, and I reach out to them in my own way, but I don't go and hang out in the hood anymore, and I don't go hang out with people who I know are users every day. Like, we don't have anything in common. I might shoot you a message and check on you and definitely be praying for you, but I can't involve myself in that lifestyle. I want to surround myself with good friends and fun, like just positivity. For me, I battled after addiction with depression, which was so bad. I never, like, I think back and it was like when I heard people say, oh, I'm depressed, or I take medication for this, I would think it was crazy. I'm like, no, like, how is depression like a real thing? Well, I feel like the enemy felt like, well, if I can't get her in her drug addiction, if she overcame that, I'm going to try to attack her in a different way. And, you know, like, it got me down for a while. Like, there was still some struggles there over, like, the course of a year. And on top of that, I was medically sick at the same time. But I picked myself up, and today I am 100% better. And, you know, I had to get back readjusted with how I wanted my life to be. I remember another hard part being when I got out of the program and moved into the sober house. My husband stayed in the men's portion and I stayed in the women's portion, still in New York. And, you know, we still got to go out and work and do everything like normal. We just had a curfew, which we never really were out anyways. So we would go to work and then just come straight home, see each other for a little bit on the way home, and then go home for the night. And then it was like, because we were getting, you know, almost, we were like shell-shocked because we were back into the world. And it was like, oh, like, you know, we can do this now. We can go here now. We could, you know, it was like there was all that temptation back in front of us, but thank God, like, we had each other through that. Like, I know that somehow God put Nicholas there at the same time as me because he kept me strong and I kept him strong. So, yeah, those were the tough days, but with that, I realized seeing them all the time and my mom dropping everything she had to do, like, not to mention she's taking care of 3 little ones, like, that's enough in itself. She can't drop what she's doing until probably she's actually seeing a change in me. And I don't really think she's seen it until I was out of the program. I mean, she's seen a change, of course, because I talked different, I acted different, I responded different. But that's just because I was at such a peace. Like, as soon as I was newly saved, I was at such a peace where I thought, like, there should be a perfect world. Like, somehow this world has got to be better than what it is. And I'm going to try to be positive about it. And I'm going to try to put the things I learned here in these studies and these classes into my life. So I learned, and I didn't hold any type of resentment because I knew she needed to see me walking too. And as soon as I got out of the program, there was a bit back and forth with her, like, no, you're not going to get the kids right back. You've got to prove to me when you come here face to face, meaning when we move back to Florida. And, you know, I just kept praying on it. I was like, I'm not going to engage in this battle with her. It's not our battle. I could understand her situation because she had raised them. Those 3 years I was gone, it was just her and them. She did everything for me, thank God. She was my angel, her and my grandmother. But I knew she couldn't just drop everything, so it actually worked out because when we moved, I just kept quiet, I just kept praying, and we were here 3 months living with her and my grandmother when we moved from New York to Florida. And the day we moved, without a complaint, without a fight, without a struggle, my mom helped us move. She was so proud of us, so happy. And I knew then that that was God that had worked all that out, because we were just head to head. She was just battling me over getting them back. And I didn't understand why. It took a lot for me growing in that to understand why. Like, why is she fighting me for them? She wasn't. That was just her way of protecting them and wanting to know that they were going to be good. And thankfully, that program was the only program I've been in. And I pray to God that's the only program I have to go to. I really do believe that addicts can turn their lives around. You don't have to stay stuck in, oh, I'm an addict. Oh, I can't do this because I'm an addict. Or I can't go forward because I have this felony on my record. No, that's not true. Like, I've even had my times of trouble, of course, through my addiction that should still be costing me to this day. But somehow God's worked that all out, and I have a great job. I've always gotten great jobs. And it's like when they go to do the background check, like, they just don't see it. And that's God. Like, that's God showing mercy on me and opening doors and not making me walk through life with those labels of ex-addict and ex-criminal. No, I'm brand new. You know, and I prayed for that. Like, just make me a brand new person. Like, change my attitude. Change my goals. Like, I'm a better friend. I'm a better mother. I'm a better daughter. I'm a better sister. I was even reading through my journal one day. Like, me and my brother, we're really close now. Like, I love that boy. He's 9 years younger than me. He's never had addiction problems. And, you know, of course, for a while, his heart was hard towards me too. But again, time and also just my walking helped him to just see that I was a changed person. So we have like the best relationship. But I was reading through my Bible or my journal, and it said, you know, I had a dream that God actually connected me and my brother. And it was like this scripture that he had just shared with me like a few days prior on the phone. So like I knew that was confirmation, like our relationship would be restored as well. And it was.
I am what time, circumstance, history have made of me, certainly, but I am also much more than that. So are we all. James Baldwin. As a Muslim, it is my understanding that we as people will always be going through a trial. This life is a trial, for those of you who wish to believe that. I realize that our interactions with people, whether intentional or not, serve as a reminder, if we are conscious, that we need to be grateful for our blessings. We don't know what trials and tribulations others are experiencing. One day, I was pumping gas, and this heavily tattooed white female looked like she was fighting inner demons with every step she took. As she angrily emptied her car and muttered to herself, she looked like she could snap at any moment. At first, I didn't know how to react, and I hesitated to ask if she was alright. I'm not one to interject myself into other people's business unless it is absolutely necessary. My gut told me to leave her alone, and I did. Do not judge. You don't know what storm God, the Creator, asked her to walk through. As I watched her drive away, it struck me how we internalize our own trials differently. Some people want you to leave them alone, and sometimes just the slightest interaction from a stranger could possibly be what is best for them. But who am I to make that judgment? That is what I struggle with sometimes, when to intervene and when not to. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, always. I hope wherever she is doing better. I know she was put in my path for a reason, or maybe the reason was for me to reflect, do a self-check, autocorrect, and progress forward. But for now, I am counting my blessings that my trials seem manageable at this point because some people have harder trials than I do. We sometimes stand in judgment of each other, and sometimes we project our sense of righteousness, perfections, and expectations onto others. None of us are perfect, and we are all trying to live our best life. One of my favorite quotes states, "Everything has been figured out, except how to live." I stated back in 2018 that one of my resolutions was to be less fearful and to live in less judgment of others. I feel bad that I initially looked at that woman with her tattoos and erratic behavior and dismissed her as crazy. I had to check myself and realize that she's going through something, and one day I will go through something, and how would I feel if someone saw me in my struggle and dismissed me as well? I'm human. I'm not perfect. No one is. I am working on myself, for I'm like everyone else, a work in progress, trying to navigate life and find my way home. I will forge ahead today with this in mind. Do not judge others by your own standards, for everyone is making their way home in the way they know best. Leon Brown.
But I tell you what, that program, the Dream Center, it really changed my life. It gave me a new perspective on everything. You ask people today, like, oh, remember when Brandi used to do this and act crazy like this? And people that didn't know me back then do not even believe the stories. Like, my husband now does not believe some of the stories I tell him of how I was in my past. But thank God. I only have God to thank for that in the program, because if I wouldn't have went there that day, if that last bridge wouldn't have been burned that day and I would have had nowhere to go, who knows where my life would be. Like, I needed to go there at that very time, in that very season. I needed to leave and complete the program in New York, which I did. I graduated in 2015 with my now husband. We both graduated the same year. And, you know, we just make different life choices. We just move different now.
All right, I see you. I know it's hot, girl.
It's hot. My hair is like curling up.
All right, I'll let you go. Is there anything?
My throat's all dry. Thank you for letting me do that, Killa.
No problem.
All right, love you.
Love you too. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you for listening. I appreciate all the support. For those of you who follow me on Spotify and don't want to miss out on any new episodes, turn on the notification button. You can also find the Conversation Piece podcast on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, RadioPublic.com, Breaker.audio, and Anchor.fm/Akila Lynch, spelled AQUILA-LYNCH. Thank you for your support. The two quotes from this episode from Confucius and James Baldwin can be found in Press On, the latest book from author C.C. Robinson. The full title, Press On, Awareness to Overcome All While Healing Debts of the Heart, Mind, and Soul, available on Amazon, BalboaPress.com, and BarnesandNoble.com. So what are you waiting for? Click that order button. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe. Love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.